And then there were four. But who is going to get that W? Let's talk about it. So, guys, we have our UCL semis. We have our UCL semis right there, man. Before we are even going to specifics, when we saw like the knockouts tree coming through, is this what we expected? I'd say no, it's not. Now, did I expect Barca to make the semifinals? Yes. So it's funny. On one half, yes. On one half, no. So you know how I'm like a Sith, but this works well. I expected Barca and Inter to go through to the semifinals. I did not expect Arsenal and PSG to make the semifinals. Because when I looked at how good Barcelona were playing, how good they were in the group phase, based on who they faced, I was like, oh yeah, they should beat them. They should beat them. For Inter Milan, who I think they only considered 2 goals in the group stage, I was like, okay, no, I don't know how many people are going to source out this whole wing backs, 2 striker system. I think that's based on the guys that come up against, they should say, what's up? And I was one of those guys that went on a limb before the Alfonso Davies, Musiala, and what you make call it, and the Upamecano injuries. And I was the one that said, oh, no, they'll beat Bayern, even before the injuries. So Barca and Inter, I expected that. I did not expect Arsenal and PSG. I did not. Even when you look at PSG, I didn't think PSG would make it through the league phase. So remember, when we saw all the teams they had to face in the first 80 games, I was like, I don't think these guys will get through. And they even had to go through the playoffs. And even when they went through the playoffs, who did they face? Liverpool, guys running away with the Premier League, guys who finished top of the league phase, and many people who thought were one of the favorites to go all the way. So I was like, oh yeah, PSG, okay, they lose to Liverpool. So once they beat Liverpool, I was like, hang on, what are we saying here? And they've now made it here. For Arsenal, again, I thought, oh, well, looking pretty good in the group phase. I thought they were an outside shot. And you see, yes, it's PSV. The way they beat PSV and just how professionally they beat them, I was like, And I think once you saw them up against Real Madrid, I was like, okay, they lose. They lose. But I was like, on face value, they lose. UCL Heritage, 15 UCLs, you lose. Arsenal, 0 UCL Heritage. But I was like, okay, we're looking at this on a very macro level. But let's look at it on a micro level. Let's look at it in detail. It's like Arsenal have been playing really well in this competition. Real Madrid didn't look great in the league phase. They should have lost to Atletico Madrid. And I was like, it seems crazy to say, but I was like, why can't they beat Real Madrid? Why can't they? Real have been playing really badly. They've not been cohesive. They're still figuring it out. Is that whole, don't worry, let the ballers ball. Don't worry, the individuals will say what's up. Can you keep relying on that, especially when you're going up against a very good defensive team and just a better cohesive unit who, and I said this at the start, that in the league, low blocks, men behind the ball, Arsenal will find them tricky to break down. In the nature of the Champions League, where teams open up a lot more based on just the quality of the teams, I think the Champions League will suit Arsenal. And it has shown that the way that the Champions League rolls, because teams are a lot more confident and they're not afraid to go toe-to-toe, I think that suits Arsenal a lot more so than your Scunthorpes or your Southamptons or your freaking Burnleys who have every man behind the ball, every man, woman, and child behind the ball. But still, let's be real, I didn't. If you told me at the start, Barca and Inter will make the UCL semis, yeah. Arsenal and PSG will make the UCL semis, no. So simple as that. So Arsenal and PSG, that's very surprising. And I think what makes this great, and which is what I like it, is we are guaranteed to have the possibility of a first time winner. So no matter what happens, a team will have a chance to become a first time winner because Arsenal and PSG have not won the Champions League, and one of them will be in the final. So one of them will have the chance to be a first time winner. And I always keep on saying that, when are we going to have a first time winner? Because it's been a long time. So the last first time winner we had, I think it was Inter Milan. Let me hold up. No. Just a little contortion of the neck, just a little contortion of the neck, just a little, just a little, just a little exorcism, just a little Uncle Didi again. Chelsea, 2012. So yes, Chelsea were the first, because I think Inter might have won a European Cup before. I think so. I'm not sure, but 100%. The last time you had a first time winner was 2012. 2012, 13 years ago. 13 years ago, which is crazy. So it's a long time coming. And again, I'll go to specifics. Most people will say the winner will come from Barcelona and Inter, that whoever wins that should win the Champions League. And Arsenal and PSG know that whoever gets to the final, you're going in there as underdogs. But 05 happened. 2021 happened. You could argue 93 happened because I think that was Marseille. That no one thought Marseille would say what's up in 93. Bro, 97 happened. Remember, Juve were the defending champions in 96, beating Ajax on penalties. And then in 97, they were the favourites where they had a Del Piero, who I think scored in that final. And who won? Dortmund. 95, who I think that was AC Milan. Nope, wait. These freaking young prepubescent kids. Boom. That's Ajax young generation led by Louis van Gaal. They said what's up. And they were fully underdogs and they won. So the beauty of a final is in a one-off game, fear the underdog. In a one-off game, fear the underdog, because that underdog knows that, bro, we just need the game of our lives. We just need the game of our lives. Again, you go back to 04 Euros. Greece just knew that. Yes, we know it's Portugal. We know we've beaten them before, but they're the full. They're the stronger team, but they're like, we just need the game of our lives. And as the underdog, if we just have the game of our lives, we can say what's up. So in a final, fear the underdog. And in any final, anybody can win. Anybody can win. It is not a preconceived notion that, stronger team, superior team, better players, they'll win the final. No. Guys, we've seen too many finals where the unfancied team has won. So going into specifics now, look. So here's the thing for Arsenal PSG. This is interesting. So Arsenal are not stupid, and I assume Arteta is not stupid. This isn't facing a team in a league phase as opposed to facing them in a Champions League semi-final are two very different things. So I don't think Kivicha didn't play. I don't think Dembele played, and I don't think Doué was part of the first team. I think they were still scanning barcodes in that league phase. But this is now a Champions League semi-final. That's one aspect. Another very, very important aspect, it's 2 legs. And the second leg is in Paris. So that's game in the league phase. It was week 3, week 4, whatsoever. So there was margin. So PSG knew that, we can lose this game. And we have got 5-6 games to course correct. Right now, it's 2 legs. So the margin of error is a lot smaller than it was in the league phase. But that game was at the Emirates. Now, this game is Emirates and the second leg. And Arteta has even said that if it's down to him, oh my gosh, we won't have fans in that second leg. You ask any UCL team, apart from maybe old school Real, you want that second leg at home because you know that no matter what happens that first leg, we know this pitch, we know the stadium, and the power of our fans. Dortmund. Bro, Dortmund were cooking. They were 4-0 down, and at a point, they were halfway through from a comeback until they just self-destructed and bent over and just said, you know what, let me just give this guy a freaking OG. So I feel it's going to be a very different game from what you saw at the Emirates. Again, we're building up and we'll get into more specifics, but this suits Arsenal. Arsenal did not want Aston Villa. For Arsenal, this Paris are going. Enrique is a plan A merchant. You see, for someone like an Emery, he's got a plan B, a plan C, plan D, and he can easily switch styles. And Emery is the kind of guy who, see, Emery and Enrique are very different managers. Emery is the kind of guy where what is the opposition doing? And I'm going to tailor my team to try to expose the opposition and suppress their strength. So he studies the opposition more. Enrique couldn't give a damn who the opposition is. He is just concerned with this. So it's two different philosophies. Enrique's philosophy is plan A. As long as we fully execute plan A, we will win. Emery's philosophy is we are going to figure out how to nullify the opposition and expose the weaknesses of the opposition. And by doing that, I've got a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. Because of the different ways I have studied these 90 minutes and what we need to do in relation to the opposition. So one manager is concerned only with what his team does, another manager is concerned with what the opposition does. So for Arsenal, you know that, oh yeah, they're going to come out and play. They're going to give you space. They're going to kick the ball. They're not going to have a striker. They're going to try to play through you. There are no crosses. There's nothing to deal with early. It will all be short, quick passes. So for Arsenal, oh no, the transition game is there. We don't have to worry about height within the defending. All we need to do is position ourselves. So the way PSG are set up is perfect for Arsenal. And Arsenal know that we're going to have opportunities. They won't sit back. We don't have to deal with a low block that you may have had to deal with Aston Villa. So stylistically, it is perfect for Arsenal. The thing for PSG, though, is they've improved. They've gotten better. And they'll be like, okay, fine, you know what we're going to do, but we're doing it far better than we did 5-6 months ago. And and the thing with PSG is that they're now hitting a crescendo. They're hitting a crescendo. And the key thing, though, is there are so many individuals that can just do many different things. So, as good as Arsenal are defensively, this ain't Real Madrid that they play. And this ain't the PSG of 2, 3, 4 months ago. This is a really good team that can score from Nuno, Kvicha, Dembele, Doué, all sorts. And you look at just the quality of midfield, whether it's Ruiz, whether it's Vitinha, whether it's Jao Neves, boom, and Donnarumma. He has a mistake in him, but the guy can make some amazing saves. So it's set up to be a. I think this is going to be a really interesting game because how aggressive will PSG be in that first leg, and Arsenal know that they need to take something to Paris. They need something for Paris. So we are up for, I think, 2 great legs. Because Arsenal know that, no, we have to attack. And we have to get goals. And Paris are going to try and now respond their attack with their own attack. But overall, I put it this way. Stylistically, this still suits Arsenal, even over 2 legs. But what those individuals can do and the kinds of things that they can turn out of nothing, whether it's a Doué, Kvicha, or a Dembele, I think is what could be the difference for PSG. Is that the individual quality in so many different places that Arsenal don't have. But I still nod to Arsenal stylistically. Now, I wish this was the final. But I think this is going to be an amazing semi-final. So this is what I thought to myself. So I was already from the jump when we saw the brackets. I was like, oh yeah, Inter and Barca. I think they're going to make it. Because Arsenal and PSG, I was surprised they were there. Inter and Barca, I always knew they were there. So I was already thinking about this matchup in my head. So initially, back like in the round of 16, I was like, this is one team that's going to give Barca issues. Defensively, very good. 2 strikers, wing backs, a formation that not many teams play. How do Barca sort out this kind of a team, which is a very team different stylistically? Because for me, I was even thinking to myself that Inter are one of my favorite teams because Inter is a throwback to when I was watching football. How many teams play two strikers? Hardly any. How many teams play two strikers and utilize wing backs? Hardly any. And how many teams really put so much effort on defensive structure like Inter? Not many. So, but they're a throwback to teams from the 90s from the early 2000s, which is why they're one of my favorite teams to watch. Because, oh yeah, this is the football I remember growing up watching, and this is how teams used to play, rather than the very predictable or give it to the winger inside the 40, he'll cut in and shoot. Um, so I was like, okay, Barca, great team, best attacking team out there, play the best football. They're the most attractive team to watch. Have one of the best players in the world in Lamine Yamal and Pedri. But I was like, what are they going to do against a team like Inter? And I think this is a team stylistically that could mess them up. But then I saw the Bayern game. And then this was my calculation. No Alphonso Davies, who gives you so much creativity from the left flank. No Musiala, one of the best dribblers and a critical member of the attacking unit of Bayern. Two of those players missing. And the amount of quality chances Bayern created was amazing. So if Bayern can create all these chances, but they're falling to that moronic Leroy Sané and the overweight fat camp merchants of Jean Gnabry who messed up those chances. So my calculation was, okay, if Bayern can create all these chances without Davies and Musiala, if Basel have no injuries and those chances fall to Lewandowski, to the Shaq, to Rafinha, to Yamal, to Pedri, to Olmo, I have more faith that they will be more clinical than Bayern. So watching those two legs, I was like, maybe this is going to be a lot closer than I think. Because before that Bayern game, I was like, I'm going to edge this to Inter Milan. After the Bayern game, I'm now really looking forward to this game because I'm like, Barca could really. So we could have a very, very crazy game of just back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. Now, is Simone Inzaghi going to look at that game and say, okay, Bastoni, Acerbi, all you guys, shut up shop. Shut up shop. Like you guys, we have to just be defensively stronger and maybe they were a bit, maybe they sort of disrespected Bayern too much and they didn't take them seriously. But I think against a Barca, a team they know that are the best offensive team in the world, he may say, okay, no, let's be a lot more old school, a lot more Italian, maybe a lot more Catenaccio, and be much more defensively aware. So, yeah, for me, for me, I still am feeling two close games, but I still feel Arsenal from a stylistic point of view. But for this game, I don't know. Because as good as Inter are defensively, they're not facing a team as good offensively as Barcelona. Barcelona are categorically better offensively than Bayern, and Bayern created a lot of chances. So if you do the math, Barca being a more offensive team, they'll create even more chances. And there is a higher probability they will execute those chances because they've got better clinical finishers than Bayern Munich could do. But at the same time, which is different again, that aggressive high line and how offensive they are. And Inter have those wing backs where one key ball to that wing back, Barca are now chasing. And you've got to deal with two strikers. What is Lautaro doing? What is Thuram doing? And how are they combining? And for Barcelona, how many teams? I don't think there's a team in La Liga, and I don't think that there's a team that they face in the Champions League that's play like Inter Milan and are set up like Inter Milan. You see, for Inter, they face many teams like Barcelona. Now, not as good, but just in terms of formation and setup. Barca, I don't think they face a team like Inter Milan in how they're set up. So, will be a case of where, oh yeah, I think they match up well with them, or oh my gosh, this is a mismatch, and they're really exposing us in a ways that no other team did. So that's why that's first leg very fascinating. I don't know how big of a deal the second leg at Giuseppe Meazza's is going to be. I don't know because I still feel Barca are a team who can still navigate themselves very well away from home. So, but I mean, like, guys, as football fans, guys, we're eating good, bro. Because I cannot wait for this game, bro. I'm hoping, I'm praying we just get two great games, two great games, just two amazing great games. Because guys, this is why we're football fans. Like a game like this is why we are football fans. So to end it, the final we want is PSG Barcelona. Let's just put it out there. No offense to Inter fans or Arsenal fans. The final we want is PSG Barcelona. But is it the final that we're going to get? No. It's a tough one to call because Arsenal PSG, the narrative. Let's run back '06. you know, let's run back 2006 and let's now do it right. Is what Arsenal will now say. Arsenal Inter will be interesting. As in, could that just be a very tactical game? That is like a 1-0. PSG Barcelona, I mean, my gosh, Dembele. It literally is the Dembele game, the narrative of what that game will be. PSG Inter, I think a very interesting game. From a tactical tip, that PSG Inter could be a very very interesting game. So, it, okay, no, okay, let's stop being a coward half hope. Nuke to my head. What is the future final that I think is going to happen? Again, I don't know what I think is going to happen. It's hard. Firstly, I think Arsenal make the final. I think Arsenal make the final. I think they do. Um, I want to say Arsenal Inter, but I'm just thinking about that Bayern Munich game, bro. And thinking about Bayern game, I'm like, bro, you give those chances to Barcelona, they're gonna score those opportunities. they're gonna score those opportunities. Because if you watch that Bayern Inter game, Bayern had amazing. They had chance after chance after chance after chance. Okay, you know what? I I'm thinking Arsenal Inter. I'm thinking Arsenal Inter. It's okay, guys. It's hard to say. Is it the Arsenal? Okay, just give me Arsenal Inter Milan. Arsenal Inter Milan. Again, guys. I know the good talents and everything, but we can get it wrong. I just the difficulty is I just need to know stylistically what that first leg is like. My prediction is I think the this is a bad matchup for Barcelona. Just as I think that PSG is a good matchup for Arsenal, I think Barca is a bad matchup for Inter Milan. So because I think it's a bad matchup, I think over two legs, Inter's setup is just going to put them ahead of Barcelona, specifically with that high line of Barcelona. But again, this is before seeing the first leg. So after the first leg, I'll be like, I think Barca can sort these guys out. So I need to see the first leg just to see stylistically how it's like in action. So this is just me in theory rather in reality. So my theory, Arsenal Inter Milan, I think. Although, I just think for narratives, PSG Barca, Arsenal Barca. PSG Barca, the Dembele narrative, bro, that narrative will be crazy. And basically, two narratives. Dembele narrative, going against Barca, the Mbappe narrative. PSG winning a UCL a year after you leave, after the season you just had, Lord in heaven. But Arsenal, Barcelona, a redo of '06. and if it's Arsenal against Barca, Henry's giving a speech. Basically, Henry is gonna be in that. Henry will be in that locker room, 100%. And you know what? Arsenal, they may wear their maroon jersey. they may just wear their maroon jersey for that. But whatever the case may be, I cannot wait for that UCL to pop off.